Hello to all. Okay, with the first season of Aether Raids having ended yesterday, I figured I might as well add my 2 cents on what I think of this new mode. Aether Raids is a pseudo player versus player gameplay mode similar to Arena, where players compete for rank and prizes. However, instead of having preset maps like in Arena, players have the ability to customize their own defense map using a variety of terrain options and towers they can purchase. These towers can be purchased and upgraded using Aether Stones, which can be attained after the current season ends. How much one obtains is dependent on what one's Aether Raid tier is. The player can obtain heroic grails in this manner as well. Again, the amount one gets is determined by their tier as well as their rank, which can be used to buy copies of units normally obtainable as Grand Hero Battle and Tempest Trout rewards. The player's tiering placement in Aether Raids, which determines their end-of-week rewards, is dependent on how much lift one has. Lift is attained by spending Aether to conduct raids on other players' teams and defeating them within 7 turns. Well, 13 phases if one wants to use tactics drills terminology. Players will receive a base score of 80 points each time they clear an enemy defense team, with 20 points deducted for every unit that is lost in the attempt. While there is a bonus unit system like in Arena, the effect these units have is not as profound, as bonus units only add 20 points to one's offense score, and unlike in Arena, you don't have to fucking spoon-feed kills to your fucking bonus unit or have to attempt to solo the whole fucking enemy team. It's also worth noting that the amount of Aether required to conduct a raid goes up as you collect more lift, eventually getting to a point where you may have to spend more than 50 Aether to conduct one raid, and considering that at current, players can only regenerate 50 Aether per day, it basically means most players will be lucky to get more than one raid in per day. Just as important as offense is in this mode is defense. The goal of designing one's Aether Keep is to make it so that the enemy has to expend as many resources as possible to defeat one's team while also destroying one's Aether buildings. These buildings, if destroyed, will restore an amount of Aether equal to 10% of the total Aether cost needed to conduct the raid in the first place. Having a solid defense is well advised, as losing a defense match will subtract 20 to 80 lift after the player reaches tier 11. Depending on how many units the other player needed to expend to secure the win. Note that the player can only lose up to 80 lift per day, which makes defense losses slightly less punishing. The player will also receive a recording of each engagement their defense team went up against, whether the team won or lost, and how many enemies the team took out. These recordings can be used to locate gaps in your defense, among other things. Unlike in Arena, arbitrary factors like stat totals or merges do not affect lift acquisition or potential matchups. This allows players to take a laissez-faire approach to team building in this mode. For example, units such as pony riders, mages, and healers that are normally dragging Arena teams' score down can be used freely in this mode without fear of losing points. However, this is a two-way street. Most of the cancer's bullshit that one can avoid in Arena by scoring high enough, such as ranged cavalry units like Reinhardt or Bravelyn, healers like Loki or Brave Veronica, or dancers like Performing Arts Azra or Release and Travels Olivia, are absolutely fucking rampant in this mode. And if one doesn't adjust their team to have countermeasures against these unit types, they're way past fucked. In fact, it's entirely possible for players to double up on these cancerous elements, like for example running 2 dancers alongside 2 cavalry healers, making certain defense maps basically unwinnable without taking massive damage. So with that in mind, what changes to Aether Raids would I make to make the experience more enjoyable and balanced? Well, the first thing I would do is make Aether Fountains upgradable. At the time of this writing, there's no fucking reason whatsoever why we should be getting only 50 Aether per reset when Aether matches in higher tiers could easily cost more than that. It would also make offense losses in pirate victory situations less punishing. The second change I would make is to restrict players to only being able to field 1 dancer and 1 healer per team. The reason for this proposal is pretty simple. Healers are basically colorless mages with the ability to die counterattacks with no strings attached, can either inflict area of effect status conditions or massive splash damage with no counterplay. An attribute can be excavated by the presence of 1 or more dancers. While limiting teams to 1 of each wouldn't eliminate this problem necessarily, it would go a very long way to stopping players from getting cheap defense wins by stacking their defense teams with this type of bullshit. As for anything else, I don't have any major complaints regarding this mode. Have a nice day.